Good morning, and welcome to Ark and Dove Presbyterian Church in Odenton, Maryland. I'm Brian Boudreau, the Clerk of Session here at Ark and Dove, and your host in the lobby, the weekly pre-service broadcast of the happenings at the church. Today I have with me Chris Fox, who's the team lead for the long-range planning team, and we'll be talking about what his team is doing. But first, let's dive into some of the announcements. Today is the sixth Sunday after Pentecost, so we have a special guest singer with us, and I think you'll really like that. I'll wait for you to figure out who that is. Our Sunday fellowship will follow the live stream service starting at 11:15. It will take place via Zoom. If you need an invitation, please send me a text or an email requesting one. My email should be at the bottom of the screen. You can do this even during the service, and I'll get back to you. Summer Sunday School is underway. It's from 9 to 9:30 every week. If you miss this week, don't worry, you can join any week. Christian Education Elder Julie Devers can send you a Zoom invite if you've not already received one. So there's also a need for adult volunteers to go through the season. Even if you can only volunteer for 1 week, that would be appreciated. Don't forget, Summer Bible Club begins this week. Starting on July 13th, there's still time to sign up. It's a 5-week-long program, and you can contact Christina Nelson or Linda Lewis to get more details. Also, we need adult volunteers and high school volunteers as well. The Healing Through Grief group will meet this Sunday, July 14th at 7 p.m. via Zoom. The Healing Through Grief small group is open to anyone who's experienced the death of a loved one, whether recently or much longer ago. You can contact Pastor Tim or Lenny Gerdner to get a Zoom invitation. Pastor John and Kim Champagne will be leading a summer book discussion. They will be reading Deacon King Kong, a book about the struggles in the 1960s South Brooklyn. The group will meet on Tuesday, August 4th at 7 p.m. Please email Kim Champagne for more details and to get the Zoom code. If you haven't been to the church recently, you've missed a gigantic pile of mulch in the parking lot. The facilities team is looking for some willing folks to help move the mulch from the parking lot to the playground. And once again, we need help weeding the flower beds. So if you and your family can help contribute with your green thumb, please contact Autumn Vernon at facilities@arkandove.org to sign up for a time slot. There are lots of Zoom activities going on during the week, so don't miss the Saturday night game night with the Deacons. They play a game called Code Names. You can get a Zoom invite from Ellen and Greg Makar. The Friendly Seniors Tea is at 3 every Thursday on Zoom. Pastor Tim can send you a Zoom invite for that as well. So now let's turn our attention to our guest this week. He is the team lead for the long-range planning team. Welcome, Chris Fox. Thanks for joining us today. How are you and the Fox clan doing this summer?
Hi, Brian. It's great to talk with you this morning. We're doing okay. We've been able to add back some activities that obviously during the worst of the lockdown we weren't able to. And that's been nice. There's definitely the feeling of walking out onto a kind of a frozen lake, trying to figure out what the right things are to do at any moment, and wondering, are we going too far, and that sort of thing. But we're adjusting to this new normal as best we can, and we're all healthy, and so those are all great things.
That's great news to hear that you guys are trying to get out there. This is how we do get back to a normal life. So now the long-range planning team has started meeting. Can you describe for us what the long-range planning team is?
The long-range planning team is a team with 9 members on it from the congregation, and we have been meeting via Zoom, and the long-range plan, this is not the first time that Ark and Dove has done a long-range plan. They've done these every 3 to 5 years, and it is really giving an overview and some guideposts for where the church intends to go. and how to strengthen both mission, education, all the goals that the church has. But it's also a time to evaluate those goals, how we're doing in meeting those goals, and maybe add new goals, uh, particularly in a time when, frankly, we're all going through quite a bit of upheaval, uh, as this conversation is indicative of, I guess.
So how long have you been meeting and what have you been working on? I'm sure that even COVID has come up as a topic, right?
COVID has come up. We started meeting initially at the end of April. We've probably had about a half dozen meetings where we have discussed COVID and if we and how we can think about the church in the future, uh, in the midst of a pandemic and even hopefully post-pandemic. But some things that have happened during this time are likely to stay with us, such as online streaming of services, and that's proven. I think a lot of us are concluding to be a real benefit that we probably, as Ark and Dove, would not have done unless forced to do. But how do we hold on to some of our core things uh, and maybe improve on them and deal with both the disruption that COVID presents, but also post-COVID? What does that look like? And that's very hard, obviously, for anybody to project. But we're doing the best we can with it, and we have a lot of really talented leadership people, bright people on the team who are, fully engaged. So it's a wonderful process to be a part of.
So what is the ultimate goal then of the team? What will you guys have or do?
What we'll do is we will produce, I don't know if a report is the right word, but a series of recommendations and guidelines. I'm being vague, partly intentionally because we haven't gotten into that real writing of it, but also because as a group, we've intentionally not referenced some of the other long-term, or really any of the other long-term plans that have been produced by Ark and Dove over the years, so that we continue to have an open mind about how we work forward. That probably won't be true forever, but so we'll have recommendations and an overview of, say, mission, of youth education, maybe even some stuff about facilities and how the facilities and the current facilities at Ark and Dove, maybe we can be creative in how we use it, which is already happening. I mean, nobody's waiting for the long-term plan to come out or for us to finish our work. Obviously, so many people at Ark and Dove are already making adjustments on a weekly, monthly basis to what's happening, but we hopefully will give a structure. And I really look at it as future leadership teams will have some advice, some guideposts that they can implement when they want to make a change or have a new decision point, that instead of starting from scratch, there'll be something there already that they can reference.
So, so obviously you're spending a lot of time kind of looking at different angles of the church, kind of, eating away at that. So, but you're relatively new to Ark and Dove. What has been, say, the most interesting thing that you've learned about the church as part of this team?
I would say I've definitely learned a lot more about the history of Ark and Dove. My wife Sarah and I officially joined maybe about a year ago. We'd been attending for a while before that, but our whole time in Ark and Dove has probably been 2 years. So there's members of the team who have a lot more time with Ark and Dove. They've been here since the founding. And what's been really great is some of the things that resonate with me as a new member and motivated me to become a part of Ark and Dove are things that they felt were true of Ark and Dove at the beginning, and that they've really helped us understand that it's not an accident that it's still true 20 plus years later, that it's been an emphasis of members of this congregation to be welcoming, to put a focus on mission. So we're not at this moment accidentally, and that's been that's just been it's just given me a good feeling, but also some sense of responsibility that they've laid this groundwork, and I and the newer members of the team, I'm sure, share this. We want to do our part to help keep taking those steps forward.
Yeah, Ark and Dove has a personality, and that's something that will continue. With the long range planning team obviously recognizes that. Now the team is working, but it's not just the team that helps determine what the long range plan is, and in fact, it's the whole congregation. So how does the congregation then get involved in the long range plan?
Well, most immediately, we have contracted to survey the membership of Ark and Dove, and we're working with a consultant. There will be a survey coming out, and what's I think relatively unique about this survey compared to some surveys that Ark and Dove may have done in the past is our goal is to actually survey every member who's 16 or older. It'll be a fairly in-depth survey, up to 85 questions, and it will really help all of us in both long-term team, but also leadership, get a sense of where the congregation wants to go, what we're all happy with right now, what we're hoping we could do differently. So I do encourage folks, when you get the survey via email, there'll be announcements and reminders about it. Please take the time to fill it out, because that's how we're going to get as rich an understanding of where we are and where we'd like to be as a congregation.
Yeah, so this is going to take everybody's participation to actually, kind of gather the information and really get a feeling for the church. So there you have it. Look out for an email from the church to fill out an online survey. And of course, if you're not a technical person, I'm sure we can find a way to send you a paper survey as well. Chris, thank you so much for joining us today. So glad you could be here.
Well, thank you, Brian. I'm glad we could have a talk this morning.
So don't forget, the Summer Bible Club starts this week. And if you haven't, send in those selfies. Please do so. We want to get those in the directory and during the live stream service. So thank you for joining us today. I hope to see many of you after the live stream service for Sunday Fellowship in Zoom. So don't forget to email me or text me for an invitation if you don't have it already. If not, have a blessed week. Keep wearing those masks, and we'll see you next Sunday. The live stream service will begin momentarily.